Well, Canadians are increasingly turning away from the bottles. Numbers from Stats Canada shows alcohol sales have dropped for the fourth year in a row. Rod Phillips is a professor of history with a specialty in this area. He's at Carleton University in Ottawa, and it's nice to see you this evening.
Yeah, good to see you too, Todd.
It's been suspected for some time. Stats Canada numbers back this up. Canadians are drinking less alcohol, beer, wine, spirits, all the rest, down 1.6%. Is that a significant drop?
Yeah, I think it is a significant drop because it's the sort of fourth year in a row that alcohol consumption has been falling. So this could be the beginning of a longer term trend.
What generation, or is there a generation that's leading the charge on this? We know we're a graying population, but who's really carrying the flag for this?
Yeah, well, I can't speak for you, but certainly people around me drink a lot more than younger people are today, and I think it's younger people who are, who are drinking less. The Gen Z, the Gen Z generation seems to have turned away from alcohol in a way that people like me didn't when we were their age.
Yeah, a lot of sales now for things like non-alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, I mean, I think you see a real growth in the sale of non-alcoholic or de-alcoholized wine, beer, and non-alcoholic cocktails. That's a lot of growth there, and they're quite expensive as well. You find that de-alcoholized wine, for example, is just about as expensive as wine with alcohol, just because the process is more complicated.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. We've had a high-profile craft brewery close here on the East Coast, and some others have as well. There's a lot of lobbying against the annual federal excise tax on alcohol. How much can price explain some of the drop?
Yeah, I think price is certainly involved. I mean, we have what everyone calls an affordability crisis. And if you're looking to cut back on expenditures, then you can't really cut back on rent, transportation. You don't want to cut back on food. So you're looking for areas that are discretionary, that aren't really essential. So you can cut back on alcohol. It's a very obvious place to go. And that either means, drinking less or choosing alcohol that's less expensive than you were choosing before. So cheaper bottles of wine maybe, or simply less wine. So affordability is important.
Yeah.
But again, bearing in mind that these non-alcoholic beverages are quite expensive, and sales of those are going up, I'm not sure that affordability in itself is enough of an explanation.
And I think it's more attitudes around drinking as a whole.
I think so, and I think younger people, especially, are much more receptive to the warnings about the health risks with alcohol. I mean, they've been being made for quite some time now. I mean, for hundreds of years, thousands of years, alcohol was thought to be okay, was actually good for you. But that changed in the last 50 years or so. And now, the World Health Organization and Health Canada are basically saying don't drink. If you can, don't drink at all. And if you're drinking, then drink less. And I think younger people have taken that on board. Possibly because, they've got shorter drinking careers than people like me. I mean, people like me who have been, drinking at a certain level for decades find it much more difficult to reduce.
All right. Okay. That's interesting. What about cannabis? We've certainly seen a dramatic uptick in the sales. Could it be just a matter of swapping one vice for another?
Well, it could be. I don't think we know enough about the consumption patterns. Certainly, alcohol is going down, cannabis consumption is going up, and it's sort of easy to say, well, people are switching from alcohol to cannabis products, and that may be true. But I suspect that people who drink alcohol also consume cannabis in various ways. So it could be a shift in the mix. But cannabis is also not cheap. So it's a question of explaining the difference. And I suppose the difference is that, there are known harms associated with alcohol, and there's still a big debate about the health effects of cannabis.
Well, it certainly is a trend. 4 years now. You got to assume that's a trend, and this will probably continue. Rod Phillips, professor at Carleton, thank you very much for your time and sharing your insight tonight.
No, you're very welcome.